I have confidence in this Minister of National Security. Madam Speaker, the UNC changed minister after minister after minister after minister. There's a standing, I don't want to call it a joke because it's sad, it's not even funny, that one day the Prime Minister at that time, who is the opposition leader now, called for the Minister of National Security and about 3 people jumped up. That's not even funny, it is sad. It is sad. Because here we are again, how many years later, and the same thing is being proposed to the country by the United National Congress. Change the minister, change the minister, change the minister. It didn't work for you and it's not going to work for us. Why do I have confidence in this Minister of National Security? Madam Speaker, we went through a very trying time in this country, in the world, during the time of COVID-19. I remember the day the Prime Minister stood up and said we have to close our schools. I am a parent, and I considered the effect of that, and we all thought it would be a short measure. That stretched to 2 years for some children. And I, at that time, was in a different capacity within the cabinet. Now I am Minister of Education. And I know too well the trials our children went through, and when they came back out of school in April of 2022, we all saw the effect of that on our children. Imagine 2 years away from socialization, 2 years away from dealing with your peers, 2 years away from developing the tolerance that it takes to sit in a classroom and have the kind of discipline required. And our children came out, and many of them were behaving in ways that we could not understand, appreciate, and it was causing national concern. And I reached out to that Minister of National Security. I reached out because we could not handle it alone. The Ministry of Education could not go it alone. And I can tell you the immediate response of the minister assured me that this is a man that cares about this country, our children, and our society. Immediately I asked, I need to meet with your officials. We need to discuss how we deal with this. And into our conversations came the TTPS at the highest level, ensured by our Minister of National Security, because he understands that the underpinning of crime is not on the street when they are old. It is in our schools when they are misbehaving and they need the support and they can't get it there. And so into our discussions came the TTPS. And we went on for days in order to come up with something that would help us. And into our schools immediately, 17 of our secondary schools where we had the most problems, went the community police. So I'm listening to the member for Couva South, and you're talking about bringing community police into our schools. We are doing that already. So thank you. Thank you for your endorsement of what we are doing under this Minister of National Security, because we understand the PNM understands what is required, and we have put a man there to do the work, and he is doing the work that we have to do. So we have our community police in our schools helping us, and I want the country to remember back in May 2022, the average was maybe 3 times a week. All of these fights going viral on social media. Consider it to today, May 2023, where our average is down to maybe less than 1 a week with those kinds of fights. It's a lot more sporadic. It's difficult to eradicate. But the fact is that those community police, and I want to give kudos to those officers in the schools. I want to give kudos to the officers sent there through the intervention of the Minister of National Security to help support our children. And the community police are the ones that run the police youth clubs. Let's give them kudos again for that. Because the children they are helping and supporting, were they not doing that, these children would be without family, without support, guiding them in a positive direction. So the police are in the schools, encouraging the children to come into the community in the police youth clubs to ensure that continuity of support, providing mentorship, role models for our children. Under this Minister of National Security, that is what is currently going on. And that is so critical, Madam Speaker. If we do not catch them there in the schools, then we have a problem, because later on, those same children who could have been stopped and saved would be the ones that we'll be budgeting for under the budget of the Ministry of National Security. Madam Speaker, I have confidence in not just the talk, but the walk of the Minister of National Security.